Welcome to everyone. Thank you very much for tonight. Please interrupt me and ask me any questions because it's quite difficult to just sit here looking at a screen because I've lost all your faces now. I've shared mine. So can you all see my screen? Donna, is that up?
Yep.
Yep. Great. So RoboReception, why we started RoboReception was probably because of all the stresses and strains I experienced during my 25, 27 years career in dentistry. We have released the odd system here and there as we've gone along, but our prime objective was to be the #1 complete operating system for dentists. So basically it covers everything and integrates with things like Dentally via open AIs. So that's the team. That's only the very short management team. There's obviously myself and Donna. The guy there with the beard that looks like he's about the only man who'd marry outside his species. He is the funniest guy you'll ever meet, and he knows I said that about him. He's so lovely. He's a seriously GDPR expert. He knows everything about GDPR. You know, you're not allowed to send files in Trello abroad. You can't send them over to America. You know, it's all heavily GDP regulated because we've now moved into GPs. That is seriously difficult to get through their regulations. So we've got the main man here, and he, as I said, he knows probably more than anybody I know about GDPR. We've got lawyers there. We've got our own dev team. Our dev team is in the UK, and our full support system and lawyers, etc. So we've got a growing team, and we've also got other people beyond them that we didn't put in. So it is for dentists by dentists. So we are basically working with experts. So what are we seeing in practice? I'll briefly say that. You know, we've got 400 and we're coming up to 500 practices now. How can the Elite Group help you? We'll talk a couple of case studies about getting started. Everyone worries about getting started, pricing, savings options, and what makes us the #1 choice. So RoboReception Elite. So this is basically the dental business crisis. I suppose it's business crisis everywhere. Patients can't get access. So if they can't get access, you will lose half of your patients straight away. With long waits trying to get through, patients will go elsewhere. The satisfaction drops, so you'll get poor Google reviews, and the competition pressure. Patients do shop around for high-end treatment. I remember when I started dentistry, other practices were getting things like whitening, bonding, straightening when I was providing that treatment, and it was because of basically the competition pressure. And obviously with all that, the receptionists, they get stress and burnout. They can't cope. I remember asking my receptionist to do something different. She'd be annoyed at me for 2 weeks. So it's something I really would struggle with, trying to get the receptionist to do things. And they're always stuck doing low value tasks. So I wanted them to talk to patients, nurture them. I didn't want them to be just sitting there answering the telephone or chasing payments and all that sort of stuff. So hence why that's another thing that we've been seeing across 400 practices. It's that reluctance to change because they don't want to upset the receptionist. Staff turnover, 68% leave due to stress. I remember I lost 90% of my staff in one go, and I had like an 8-9 surgery practice. So I do know what it's like. I do know the actual stresses involved. And obviously they remain untrained. I remember when, you know, you get rid of one member of staff, you try and train the next one, and then they leave or someone else leaves, and it just becomes some vicious circle. And obviously that will hurt your return of investment, reduction in new patient numbers. You get business blind spots. There's errors, loss of potential goodwill value, and the inability to diagnose an issue. So you almost make knee-jerk reactions. So I'll have dentists that phone Donna and I and go, look, we want to invest £8,000 a month into some marketing. Do you know a marketer? And we're like that, slow down. Why don't you find out what's going wrong? Why you're having to put £8,000 into marketing? So we might find that their reception conversion rate is at 18% when we can bring it up to 36. So suddenly you've doubled the reception conversion rate. You can then half the spend, and we can do all that with all our little bits of software at the touch of a button. So what's the Elite Group? It's a complete operational system. So it's all the way through your business. It's automated using artificial intelligence. I'm not talking just transcripts. We do use artificial intelligence, and we're dentists, we're GP surgeries now. We're just about to take on 50 GPs and other medical professions. We've gone into vets, and now we're just about to start physiotherapists. What do? It's basically everything. We'll provide a system that fields inquiries, so all the way from the inquiry all the way through to boosting your reviews using the AI Receptionist, a chatbot that sits on your website. There's a CRM LeadTracker and a Google Review Boost software with the ability to press a button and see the bird's eye view of the business. So basically what I can do now, it's not my practice. I sold all my practice to Portman. I can look on my phone and I can see how many leads came in today, how long it took the team to convert them, how long they've been sitting there unanswered, unactioned, but I can also see how well the team are doing. And do you know what? When we started first doing this, I needed to make sure the staff knew it wasn't just me coming along to try and check up what they're doing, but I would say to them, look, the average is between 50 and 60. So if you get a conversion rate of your reception staff between 50 and 60%, you're doing bloody well. So I'd say, look, you lot get between 50 and 60%, I'll buy you all a bottle of wine. So and then they would come through and go, Grant, we're at 51% this week. We're at 52% this week. The best they've got is 63, and the best we've seen is I think it was 68%. But that's really, really high. But the terrible news is some practices are all the way down at 12%. They've got like 2,000. Some of them had, what was it, 200? They had 200 a month new inquiries, and they were converting, I think it was about 12 to 15% on average, which is terrible. But the amount of money they were putting out, and they were saying they were just getting bad leads. They weren't getting bad leads. No one was picking up the phone. No one was booking the patients in, and no one was being assessed and just helped, which is where we come in. So no operational systems, as you know, drop in income, lack of control. I used to feel really helpless about it all. I felt I was failing. I used to see other practices that were doing better than me. I felt stressed, and dentistry was no longer fun for me. I wanted to be fun again. So the crisis, we're not taught to run a business. Some people are better at it than others. I always thought I was just sort of making knee-jerk reactions most of my career, and I felt tired and stressed. I was time poor. I had zero interest in marketing until I did, and then I found out. I thought, hey, look, it ain't rocket science. There's a lot we can do ourselves. The competition always looked better to me when I first started, and there may be a looming recession. I don't know. Maybe dentistry is relatively resilient. I felt the lack of control, trust issues with agencies. Couldn't stand agencies. They would work with me for a little while, then I'd ask for a report. I didn't trust the report. Again, we'll be able to show you how to do all that. And I did want hassle-free systems. I just wanted to go to work. I used to take a day off to do my books, a day off a week to do my book and do reports. What the hell's the point in that? I should be at work. I should be doing dentistry, and I should let other people take the stress off me, which has ended up what we did. So the benefits of running these systems were never clear. I felt alone. The agency reports I never understood, and I never trusted them, to be honest. And costs, as we all know, are spiraling out of control. So where do I start? That's what I wondered. My receptionist was so moody. I'd ask them to do something, they'd get annoyed, and everyone is reluctant to change. And I can't handle any more disruption to the business. I didn't want it disrupted anymore. I felt there was enough disruption, and I thought I'd heard it all before. I have no money to invest in anything, and I'm tied into an existing contract. So these are all the things that we see every day when people are sort of reluctant to change. And this is why we've created the Robo Elite Group. So what is it? So AI Receptionist 30 calls. So we give you 30 calls a month included, and that's 24/7. So you can turn it on, turn it off, do what you like. If you get towards 30 calls, we will give you a warning at 25. If you then get to 30, you'll get another warning. And then if you want to go, no, don't worry about it, just let the AI take over, we'll then be able to give you the costs related to that above and beyond what we charge monthly. We'll include the chatbot, which we're doing a massive overhaul just now, which is going to be completed in about a week. We've got a CRM LeadTracker, which is all automated. We've got automated emails. We've got Google Review Boost. Again, that's automated within the LeadTracker. You'll be a member of a WhatsApp group. So principals will be a member of a WhatsApp group with myself and Donna. So we'll be able to say to you, look, you've dipped below the percentage this month. The staff should really be trying to get that percentage of reception conversion just a bit higher. I'll be giving advertising, marketing tips and tricks on Zoom. That can be for you or your team. So I will be releasing things like the SEO for dentists on landing pages. I'll show you how to build landing pages. I'll show you how to all the secrets with SEO. And as I said, go on in Teeth Straightening Exeter, and I've got 6 or 7 places on page 1 because I did learn how to do it. I don't know all the answers, but I do know that I can get people to page 1 of Google. We'll do a Google Review Boost. We'll give you full support with free upgrades, training, and like I said, monthly Zoom meetings. We'll be able to give you a mystery shop every month and a report as well to be able to go, look, you're doing brilliant. You may be not needing it, or you may need a little bit more extra help, which we can give you. So what's the steps to inefficiencies in practice? No systems, no control, knee-jerk reactions, which I've been there. I know we all do it. And of course, there'll be limited growth. And how we can overcome that is we can make sure every single one of your calls are answered. We can nurture your inquiries for you. The AI isn't just attached to ChatGPT. You get all these fancy ones that you're hearing online just now. Sounds like a human, answers straight away. They have no control. You have to have control. So ours, we experimented actually with our AI, and we either had a superhuman sounding voice or one that was slightly not quite so human, so a patient preferred to know that they were actually speaking to an AI. So we've actually looked at it that much. This has been going on for a year, us trying and testing it. And obviously, when it asks questions, it nurtures inquiries. And we will also teach your staff to nurture inquiries as part of the Zoom presentations, and then provides accountability and staff training. And I think the accountability is it. When everybody's accountable and the reception team are accountable, they step up naturally. And then if you want to buy them that bottle of wine, costs nothing compared to what actually that they can do for your business. And then obviously that will support your growth. So this is the White House Dental Group. There's 6,000 patients. So this is a good case study with 300 call volume a day, rural extra, short staff, sickness, call volume was up, new patients not being answered, limited ability to prioritize emergencies and new patients. And people talk about zoning the book, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it is a real problem. You're either too busy or not busy enough. And the patient demographics, where patients are fully private with an emphasis on implants and Invisalign. So that's what we got. That's what the Rebecca Burt, the dual managers, one of the dual managers from Portman, she just thought it was literally astonishing. And, we were nurturing new patients. At the end of the day, before we started, lunchtimes, when if say someone was off sick, you just turn AI Joe on, and he can book patients in. They'll answer the all. We had 50,000 calls taken by our live agents, so we know what people ask. Cancelling appointments, where's the parking, how do we get to you, times of opening, costs. We can send cost links as well to your website. So basically 90% of the calls that actually your staff are held up with or caught up with can be answered with an AI. And this is another one. I don't know whether any of you saw this. It was Ahmed. If you have a look there was 40 Google reviews when we started. 4 weeks later, 400. I mean, that was just an awesome time. That was. We're not saying we're going to get you 400. We suggest you drip feed it. We just went and did 10,000 all at once, but we suggest you do drip feed it. So we can give you loads of reviews, etc., etc. But like we said, we are a growing company, and we are getting stronger. And that's why we're so busy. We've got a lot of people who want to grab their area, and hence why hopefully you guys will do as well. We are trusted partners. Dentally, we're fully integrated with Dentally. We're also partners with Focus, and obviously Portman Dentex are now trusting us. And that's a big thing when you get corporates that start to trust us. We're about to open 20 sites with them. We've got a lot of mini corporates as well. So there's some really cool things happening at our end. So what is it? It's a chat. We've got the AI Receptionist, like we've said. We've got a chat bot. We've got the LeadTracker, the Google Reviews Boost. We'll give you full support, management and training and backup. Zoom staff training and support. So if you need anything, you just jump on, ask me a question or whatever you want. And then a WhatsApp group memberships for principals, so you can ask me privately or on a group, if there's any issues that you want to share. And obviously you'll get the free upgrades, and that's for £249 plus VAT per month. So that is, that bats out the park any competitor out there. Totally. We've made it that price. We own all the systems, so we are able to make it that price. But that is you won't get any better. And it's all in the control. So this is basically how we run it. So it isn't just an AI machine. So we actually can control exactly what the bot wants, the AI is saying. So you can give it anything. We can answer however you want it to answer, whatever you want it to answer. And in whatever way. So like we're saying, we've actually created an AI machine, and that's why it's taken us so long. That's why ours is a little bit more special than sending you a recorded message or of a conversation from the reception desk. We're really proud of it. We've got thousands and thousands of flows from 50,000 calls we've taken over a year from our live agents, and the AI has taken over. So that's how we control it. It's all about controlling the information. And there we go. So so it's the incoming call. The AI answers and follows the script workflow. The AI determines the patient's need and intent, and that is the difference. It determines the patient's needs. It's not just I'm answering a question. So if it says the patient's in pain, they'll say, and I've done it from a dental point of view. Did you have trauma? Are you bleeding? Have you got swelling? Does painkillers take the pain away? Are you kept awake at night? So, it doesn't diagnose, but I just know, being a dentist like you all, what questions that it's supposed to ask. It then collects the patient information, and it will then send to the practice. Now, it can either send to the practice, or you can say, no, Grant, what we want to be able to send booking links. We want to send different options or website links. It can do anything you want, basically. If you go over your calls, you can, if you've got 550 calls a month, now you don't want to be up there, because if you've got 550 missed calls a month, it gets super expensive. You can. One dentist who has taken us on in 5 of his practices, he said to his staff, I do not want you to miss more than 30 calls a month, or they'll know they'll be in for the chop. So you can use it as a way to make sure they do answer the telephone, but it does give you a bit of a breathing space if you can't, or if there's busy, or if there's sickness. So they're the cost, but we can confirm all that later. But you do get up to 30 calls free of charge within the cost. So basically a chatbot. I don't necessarily think we need to do that, but it just sits on the corner, and it then nurtures and knows what to ask. We went into real depth about questions and the way in which people respond. That's 3 or 4 months just investigating how people respond, and the colors, aren't they ghastly? But do you know why we did those colors? It's the Facebook colors. And so people, Facebook spent billions on their messengers, so we did the Facebook colors. But we're changing it, and it's all going to be slightly different in a month's time. There's a few more automations we want to bring in. So it's next Friday. Hopefully that'll be all live. So we're constantly updating and constantly changing. So it just works simply like a chatbot. Asks questions, and I get quite a lot of new patients actually from that. But you obviously have to have people visiting your site, your website, and the chatbot at the end of the month will actually tell you how many people visited your site, what time, how quickly they bounced off. So again, it's not just a chatbot. These are the things I wanted as a dentist. I wanted this information. Was my website working, or was it not working for me? And if it's not working for you, there's things we can do. So I'll do a talk about a software that you can actually put on your website, and I'll be doing that probably in the 3rd or 4th month, that you can just put on. It's free. I didn't pay for anything. So all this is free, as in I'll show you what to put on your website, and then you can see what's going wrong, where it's going wrong. And it's all stuff that's available that I looked, I must have been so dull and boring for a period of about 5 to 10 years, because I've really wanted to learn about this stuff. I actually find it incredibly interesting. So, nope, that's not letting me out of there. I'll just come in out. Let's have a look.
You press the pause on the video, it should work.
Oh.
And then the little arrow next to number 23. I'm trying to press it for you.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Thank you, Donna. So this is the LeadTracker. So the chatbot takes all the information, and this is the funnel that people talk about. They want to funnel all the information into one area, and we've created a very basic, if you want it to be, system. So you can go on to other competitors that are very difficult to understand. A staff member leaves and they don't know how to use it, and they're training them up again. But this one is easy. We could sit there and I could show you in the space of about 3 minutes how to use this at a basic level, but you can get more complicated if you want. So if you notice on the left side, that's where all your new inquiries comes in. If they come through the desk, they have to be manually put in. That's the only time it has to be manual. AI Joe can put them in there, put them in your website, we can put the Facebook, Instagram, Google, all your ads, they can all go in there. So basically it takes everything into that section and it drops in as a green. So that's been sitting there for however long. You can change that time. If it turns to amber, you could have said you wanted it answered within an hour, and it will turn amber if it hasn't. If it turns to red, that's been sitting there for 2 hours, and you've got to say to your staff, look, it's been sitting there for 2 hours. That needs to have been actioned. And within the cards, you move the cards along, and every time it moves along, it then can send automated emails, which will show you how to set up, and you can even WhatsApp or SMS from the board as well. So it's a very easy system to use, and so easy but it's not about making a system really complicated. It's so you don't lose a bloody lead. It's so you can look at home and go, right, or wherever you want, you can go, right, I've got 3 green new patients. They need actioned because they want Invisalign, or they want dental implants, or whatever systems or whatever treatments that you want to incorporate into it. And this, do you know what? We have so many stats, but this is the one page that I like because there it is, 31% consultations booked. That is the most important one because, like GPs, doctors, it's the receptionist that can sometimes let us down a little bit because they don't get them booked in. They don't answer the phone. So that 31%, it really should be up to about 53, to 60%. And that's what the Portman staff that I manage. I'm a lead dentist down there now. I want between 50 and 60%. And I'll buy them a bottle of wine if they get between 50 and 60%, because I know it benefits me. And all this other stuff, you can, the stats, you can go crazy. You can, look at the stat. I mean, that board just kills my eyes. But you can go into it as deep as you want. Leads consult booked, and you can even go even further. Why they didn't book, why they didn't proceed. And it all depends on what level of statistics that you all want to go into. And of course, when they get to the end, you can then put them into our Robo Reviews, which will boost your Google reviews. So they'll get automated emails. You don't have to do anything. It is GDPR regulated, so you're not sending your stuff away abroad. They'll be given a choice whether they want thumbs up, thumbs across, thumbs down. Thumbs across and thumbs down will obviously go to the manager so they can deal with whatever problem it is, and thumbs up will then go to Google reviews. Now, we've even looked, we are so careful about what we've done that you aren't allowed to filter Google reviews. So what we do is we give them an option on this correspondence to be able, it's not clear, but it's still within Google guidelines to say you can leave a review even if you're upset, but we do it to make sure you're covered by Google reviews. And they never do it. Why? Because they get lost in the green, amber, and red. So we do think about the GDPR aspect. The Zoom meetings and the WhatsApp groups. Look, I'm going to be telling all my secrets. Like I said, I'll show you how to do landing pages, SEO. I'm going to show you staff how to do a 5-star service. That's easy. This is the stuff that I've been doing on my course. There'll be free tips and tricks on marketing that doesn't cost a penny. I get about 180 new patients a month in Devon, and I'm in a sleepy town in Devon, and I still get that many patients. My hourly rate, I don't mind saying, is about between £1,000 and £1,200 an hour. It's not because I rush through my treatment. It's just that every single person that comes to the door is an Invisalign patient or a dental implant patient. So, the practice has always been geared up very much to being efficient, and this type of efficiency that we'll be doing on these Zoom meetings. So it'll be one dentist, one area, 5 miles if you're in rural, 1 mile if you're urban, and if you're in London, it's 0.5 miles. You do get exclusion requests. So in other words, if you've got that one competitor you don't like, 2 maximum, you let us know and we can strike them off. That's tough, isn't it? It's first come, first served. So there we go.